Now we're going to get into those ER-IR conjugations, right? And so it's the same pattern. You'll start to see some similarities, right? For example, the yo is still o, right? Tu becomes es instead of as, still ending with that s, right? Just if it's an AR, it's an AS, and if it's an ER, it's an ES, right? This becomes A instead of A, right? So same thing, it's just the vowel, right? But changing, if it's an AR, it's A, if it's an ER, it's E, right? And then we have N down here for ellos, right? If it's an ER, it's an E, if it's an AR, it's an A, right? But same kind of endings there, right? Now, the only time in which these ERs and IRs differentiate is here in the present, right? Because we get emos, EMOS when they're ERs, right? So for example, for beber, it's bebemos, right? EMOS. Versus it's IMOS if it's an IR, right? So simple enough. We're just keeping the vowel the same, right? So like for vivir, we get vivimos, right? Versus getting, so for example, in vivimos, we get IMOS because it's an IR verb, right? Easy enough. Right? So, like for example, for this first verb, beber. Right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this ER, right? And then I'm going to take my stem, be, bo, be, base, be, hemos, and you can see this all in your presentation, right? I'm just doing it so you can start to see how I'm doing it, of removing this ER, adding the ending here to the stem, right? So I get babe and, right? I drink bebo, you drink bebes, he drinks bebe, we drink bebemos, they drink beben, right? Easy enough, right? Now, in the case of this being an IR, we're going through the same process. We're using, for the most part, the same endings. We're just making sure that we change, instead of EMOS, IMOS. That's the big difference, right? So if I get, for example, vivir, right? Step one, remove that AR, ER, IR. Doesn't matter. We're removing the ending, right? Boom, gone. Then we take this stem, VIV, and we put the O, yo vivo. Take the VIV, put ES, vives, tu vives, you live. For example, I could say, tu vives en Canada, right? You live in Canada. Yo vivo en Mexico, right? I live in Mexico. VIV, add the E, vive, he lives in Mexico. Él vive en Mexico, right? VIV, now we're adding I, because it's an IR verb. MOS, vivimos en Mexico. We live in Mexico, right? And then VIV, add an EN, viven, they live in Mexico, right? I want you guys to give this a try. I want you to take correr, escribir, and leer, and I want you to come up with the conjugations for it. You can find the answers on the next slide. Pause the video while you come up with the conjugations. Jump to the next slide to check your answers, right? And then using those new words with their definitions, tell me what the sentence is after you check your answers of the conjugations, what the sentences are saying on the slide below. Once you are done looking at those sentences, yo bebo agua todos los días, tú corres en el parque, ella escribe un libro. And if you don't know what some of the words or phrases are, don't worry. Feel free to look them up. Feel free to look them up, or you can just check them against the answers on the next slide, which will give you the words that are missing, right? So however you want to do it, right? So go ahead, pause the video, do the conjugations, check the conjugations on the next slide. Then at the bottom of that slide, look at those sentences, tell me what they're saying, and check your answers. And then we will go into directions around town, the important phrases that we need to look out for, right?